Every month, the Salvation Army is providing resources for the spiritual formation of young people. We have 2 short sermon videos or the speaker briefs for those sermons if you want to deliver them yourselves. We'll also provide 4 Life Labs, which are formational small groups. They each come with leaders material and participants material. You can find all of our resources on our website. This month's topic will introduce young people to the spiritual framework for the year. Our story is love. Adolescence is a time when young people are forming their identity, writing the story of their lives. But sometimes it feels like others are writing that story for them. This can leave young people disconnected, struggling with a lack of confidence and esteem. This topic will explore what it means to think of our lives as a story and what God might look like in that. This topic is built on the good news that we can know who we are when we know we are loved. God loves us as we are, accepts us and supports us no matter what. We are transformed when we experience God's love, when we find acceptance and support in loving community. We'll be exploring this good news as we find it in the theology of John. The book's in the Bible, not me. The first sermon and speaker brief looks at the fear young people can live with about whether others will like them. We all need to feel loved. The good news is that God loves us and isn't here to reject, judge or punish us as our peers might. That love can live in us. We can often live with fear, but God can put love in its place. The second sermon and speaker brief explores young people's experiences of isolation. We often have to be in places and with people that don't love us. Friends are those who love us like God loves us, and we can find the love of God in the right communities. Sometimes we can feel alone, but God's love connects us to people who love us. The 4 Life Labs break down the idea of our lives as stories and how God's love can be part of those stories. In the first Life Lab, we help young people understand their life as a story that they can shape. We introduce the idea of life stories and invite young people to consider their own and where God's love has been part of it. The second Life Lab helps young people understand what love practically looks like. We use the Compassion Obstacle Course activity to get young people to identify practical ways we experience love and explore how Jesus showed compassion and love in his life. The third Life Lab is to help young people understand how other people can help shape each other's identities for the better. They'll encourage and build each other up and think about how God calls us to love one another. In the fourth and final Life Lab, we'll help young people think about how they respond to the challenges of the world. We'll look at what part they can play in the world's story. If we have faith in Jesus, we can see things the way that God does and work together to save the world, not judge it. We hope that you find these resources useful and helpful. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to a member of the National Youth Team.